What's going on, guys? Okay, so today we're talking about intermittent fasting. And now I'm gonna cover two basics. One, I'll explain exactly what it is. And then two, I'll give you my opinion on whether I believe it's a good approach to losing weight or not. So to jump right into it, intermittent fasting is not a diet. What it really is simply a pattern of eating. And so what I mean by that is you don't have specific guidelines as to how much food you should be eating or what types of food you should be eating, but rather a certain time frame in which you should be eating. Now, the two most popular approaches for intermittent fasting is either the 16-8 method, which means you fast for 16 hours of the day and then you eat those other 8 hours of the day, or the 5-2 method, which means you eat normally for 5 days out of the week, and then those other 2 days out of the week you eat very, very low calories. So typically you only eat between 500 to 600 calories on those 2 days, but then those other 5 days you eat normal. Those are really the two approaches that most people use when doing intermittent fasting. So the whole thought process behind intermittent fasting really comes down to the fact that if you're eating in smaller time frames, then what you should be essentially doing is consuming fewer calories, and therefore you end up losing weight through it. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and go into whether I believe intermittent fasting is a good approach to losing weight or not. And so the answer honestly is yes and no. And let me go into the no first, and then I'll explain to you guys the yes. No, because typically anyone that's looking for an alternative approach to eating, whether that be a diet or a pattern of eating, is doing so because they need to lose weight and they don't know how to typically eat. And so all intermittent fasting is doing for that person is cutting the time frame that they can eat shorter. But if those people have no idea what type of foods they should be eating or how much of certain foods they should be eating, then I tend to believe that it doesn't take a whole lot of time for them to eat excess amounts of calories in, say, those 6 to 8 hours, because you can consume a whole lot of calories in just simply 2-3 hours and overeat what you should be eating. So fasting is not the best approach. Now, why I say yes is because if you're that certain type of person that does have the discipline and can kind of control what types of foods you're consuming during those time frames, then yeah, you can see results. But really, at the end of the day, like I've preached in several other videos, what it comes down to is calories in versus calories out. If you're consuming more calories than you're burning, no matter in what time frame you eat that, you're going to gain weight. If you eat a meal on every hour, then you're still going to lose weight if your calories in are lower than what you're burning. And so it shouldn't matter what time frames you're eating in, it's just a matter of how much and what foods you're eating. So that's why I say yes, and that's why I say no. You just really have to go ahead and do your research and decide if you think it's going to be a good approach for you. So overall, what I think everyone really should be focusing on is just simply finding out how many calories a day they should be consuming and knowing their macro breakdown so they can meet that 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss every single week. And then what time of the day you consume that food really doesn't matter as much. So if there's any other confusion with this topic, or you guys really want me to go into some other type of diets or patterns of eating, please feel free to comment down below. I know these subjects can be pretty complicated, and so I'm just trying to simplify it as much as possible for you guys. As always, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.